This program is brought to you by thepodcastfactory.com.
You're listening to the Pretend You're Fired Today podcast. And now, here's your host, Lisa Rangel.
Welcome and hello. Welcome to the second episode of Pretend You're Fired Today podcast. I'm Lisa Rangel, host of the Pretend You're Fired Today podcast and the founder of Chameleon Resumes. We are an executive resume writing and job search consultancy firm. We help executives and rising leaders land their next role faster. I'm excited to be here chatting with you, and I know we're going to wake you up and talk some job security truths here today. Last episode, we talked about the only way to truly protect yourself from job loss is to pretend you're fired today and make a list of things that you would do to start finding your next job and do them while you're working. Always have this list in the works. Having your resume ready and your network primed is the best path to always be working and not have gaps between employment. As we said in the last episode, the first thing on that list is dusting off the resume and getting it up to speed. When was the last time you even looked at your resume? Do you even have one? Hopefully it's not too bad, but if you're like most people, you're using that resume that you probably had done at the College Career Center, right? You had them do that for you a number of years ago. And now you're trying to land that well-paying professional or executive level job with that format that you got from the College Career Center. Doesn't make sense, but you're not alone. So it's good that we're looking at this now before you need it, right? Being proactive is going to pay off, I promise. So give yourself a pat on the back for being proactive here. Bravo, bravo. So what should a resume look like now? It's important to know these trends and have a current looking resume and not a dated document that looks like a 1970s powdered blue ruffled wedding suit, right? Looking current is key. So some of these resume trends are from 2017 and we're going to go over them here today. One of the first trends is to make the most of your prime resume real estate. I call the top third of your resume prime resume real estate. You want to create a robust summary to capture the hiring manager's eye. You want to use this space wisely and include what position you're targeting and a few pointed achievements that support why that hiring manager should continue reading your document and call you for that exploratory interview, for that conversation. Or there might even be a targeted position open. You want to make sure you're motivating them to call you. Don't use this space to state the obvious with the word summary or any other obvious fluffy description. Using the word summary in the top of your resume is such a waste of space and it screams Captain Obvious to me. Use that space smartly by stating the targeted job that you're going to be going for and using this resume for. The next trend is you want to customize your resume for the audience, not even just the position. You have to do that too, but you need to customize it for the audience. Don't send the same resume to every opportunity. If you're sending your resume to a third-party recruiter, you need to motivate that third-party recruiter to want them to send you to their clients. That's how they get paid. Whereas if you're sending your resume directly to a company, you're going to need to address how you will create results for that particular company and make their life more productive in hiring you. Factor these perspectives in when you're sending your resume to either a corporate recruiter or a search firm recruiter or your friend as an employee referral. You got to ask yourself, what's the motivation of that person receiving your resume? And then write it from that perspective and address that point in your resume summary. I'm going to show you a strong example of this. If you go to resumecheatsheet.com, my highly instructive resume cheat sheet and the correlating training will show you how to do this fast so you can have your resume ready. Again, that's resumecheatsheet.com and you'll be able to get the example of what it should look like. Moving on to the third trend, you want to lead with your achievements early. Older versions of resumes waited until the employment section to put in achievements. But I say actually today, you need to pick one or two of your most relevant, proudest wins and put that into the summary section, even before someone gets to your employment section, so you can have an impressive punch that hiring manager is going to read when they read your resume. Put your best foot forward. Lead with your accomplishments early in the summary. Motivate them to keep reading and call you for that exploratory interview conversation or just to learn more about you, since we're doing this all before you need it. And then you'll also put the achievements in the employment sections. But gone are the days when a summary is very long or there's no summary at all. In today's employment marketplace, they're shrinking attention spans. An executive and a professional, when doing their resume, must lead with a very strong first impression, and that's in that top third of the resume. And the summary should contain their crowning, most relevant achievements that are relevant to that job. This will keep the reader engaged in 5 to 10 second increments, and you're going to motivate that person to keep reading and call to learn more about you. Next, you want to make it easy for the readers to digest your information. A better way to say this is to use white space, white space, white space, right? Cramming that content into multiple information-dense, multi-line paragraphs with little white space around each one is enough to make a reader feel assaulted and not want to keep reading. So you need to make it easy for them. You need to make it feel like they're breathing as they're reading. When recruiters see very dense documents, they don't want to read them. It's like an effort. So make it easy for your readers to find information using bullets, sectioning off information blocks, simple graphics to move the eye through the document, and again, white space. When you go to resumecheatsheet.com and go on to the correlating training, you're going to see about 4 or 5 examples of resumes in that video training that demonstrate this fact. So make sure you download that cheat sheet and go to that training. Next, as you're writing, you want to write tight. What does write tight mean? Write concisely. Once you write the first draft of your resume, challenge yourself to identify the words and phrases that you can delete. You want to write concisely. Doing so will help create white space and make the reader's eye flow over your resume with ease, leading to that exploratory interview conversation. 2 pages is acceptable for people with over 10 years of experience, and 1 page is acceptable for those people with under 10 years of experience. Lastly, the 6th trend is to align your resume content with your online profiles. A resume does not exist in a vacuum anymore. It's not the only way someone can find you, nor should it be. Ensuring your resume is in alignment with your LinkedIn profile, what you say on your Twitter account, if you have a blog, and other social media pages that you use for work, for professional purposes, having these all in alignment is pertinent to your field. It's pertinent to your professional presentation. A hiring manager may find your work on a personal blog, but then when they reach out to ask you for your credentials and you send your resume, you want to make sure that these are in alignment. They may find you on LinkedIn, reach out to you, ask you for your resume, which will give them more detail. You need to make sure those are in alignment. Consistency and alignment is important. Authenticity in these presentations is everything. So you know now how conceptually to set up your resume. Want a visual? It would help. So go to resumecheatsheet.com and download a visual example on how to write and format your resume. And you'll also get access to our free training that will help you do this and do it well. Bottom line is this. You do not need to practice this concept, pretend you're fired today list perfectly. And you don't want to be so paranoid about getting your resume done and asking people information about your background at work to make sure you get all the details. And you don't want to be so diligent about everything that people get a sense that you're looking for a job and you get fired. You don't want this to become a self-fulfilling prophecy. However, the key is to do a little bit of this every day, each week, so your documents are ready and you're on top of your network and you know your stories and you're ready to go at any point. This way, if you need it, you will have built it before you needed it. That's the bottom line here. And if you're not currently working, then you can put this stuff on overdrive and accelerate the results from your efforts and audit what you're doing. So let's take action on today's episode. Download resumecheatsheet.com and start comparing your resume to the sample that I have for you to use. And what do you see that's similar? What do you notice that's missing? And have that cheat sheet ready and downloaded for the next episode, where I'm going to show you the secrets to finding the right keywords that hiring managers will use to find you when they search for somebody like you and your expertise. Remember, for the next few episodes of the Pretend You're Fired Today podcast, we're going to go through a list of tactics and activities that you need to do to ensure that you are never knocked out from under your knees if all of a sudden you were fired. We're going to pretend it happened, and we're going to be ready. My friend saved me from this feeling with her priceless advice of pretend you're fired today and having me get started on this stuff ahead of time. And it saved me. It saved me personally and professionally, and I'm paying it forward with you. And I ask you to pay this sentiment forward and share it with as many executives and rising professionals who you feel would benefit from this, and have them build it before they need it. I want you to build it before you need it. So let's get a jump on that first item, being having your resume ready, from that, which should be the first item on your Pretend You're Fired Today activity list. And let's go to resumecheatsheet.com, download the freebie there. There's a free resume sample that has a ton of instructions on how to execute your resume and do it easily. And there's also an accompanying training. And we're going to tackle the next steps on finding keywords for your resume in the next episode. See you then.
This is thepodcastfactory.com.